My name is Fred P. Barrasso. I am a retired deputy with the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and I was the first one on the scene that day. And even as I pulled up, I could have this eerie feeling come over me. There's something weird about that place. But the parking configuration made it seem like a standard stolen car dump, so I grabbed my camera and began my walkthrough. The first thing that I noticed was the missing plates. All 4 vehicles present were missing their license plates, which of course led us to believe they'd been stolen. I mean, I'd come across abandoned cars before, sure, but 4 all together like that in one spot and seemingly popping up overnight, that's unusual to say the least. It was when I got closer that I saw the blood. Not a lot, mind you, but enough to be suspicious of foul play. One of the cars had blood on its back door handle. Some was found on a knocked-over folding chair in the center of the structure. 2 of the cars were linked by jumper cables. We're not quite sure why. All of them had their trunks and hoods popped, though not completely open, and all the vehicle doors were locked, except for the one car that had its back doors open. The thing about these dumps is normally you would have the gas tanks be empty because somebody would have come by and emptied them out by siphoning, but that wasn't the case here. All 4 vehicles had gas tanks that were full. I believe the lab said it was even high octane. And honestly, if not for the fact that they were slightly older vehicles, you would assume that they were brand new, sitting on a lot somewhere waiting to be bought. And the keys were all missing as well. And so about 15 minutes after I got there, the crime scene boys came in to do their sweep. And here's where things really get weird. That eerie feeling that I got when I first got to the scene, it was growing the entire time I was there. And all the cops that showed up, they told me that they felt it too. Yeah, every one of them. And they didn't find any prints on the places you would normally find them on a car. None. So they packed them all up and hauled them back to the lab to do their own evidentiary sweep, looking for something, anything that could help them. Fingerprints, dirt, hair, something that could tie them to a suspect. They didn't find anything. Nothing. And I know, it seems impossible, but there it was. And it wasn't the fact that there was evidence lacking in one car. But all 4, all of them immaculate. In the chair, same story. The blood type on the car matched the blood type on the chair. O positive. Figures it had to be the most common type, right? But the thing that really gets me were the VIN numbers. None of the VIN numbers matched the car they were on. They weren't even the same make or model. Not one VIN matched any of the vehicles on site. I mean, the one we pulled off the Accord originally belonged to a school bus from North Dakota that had been out of operation since 1989. We did a search of the area and didn't find anything, not that I expected us to. The way the cars were parked, you can see there was a gap between 2 of them. I thought maybe there'd been a 5th car that had gone missing, but nobody seemed to think that. So the site really didn't give us anything to go on. Though we were able to interview the landowner, but guess what he saw?
Well, that was like 8 years ago. I had nothing to do with that. My dad did. He found it. He called the cops. Nothing to me, though.
He says he didn't know anything about no cars or how they got there, but to be completely frank, he seemed kind of off to me. I tried repeatedly to have him brought in for questioning, but my supervisor seemed okay with his initial statement. So, with nothing to go on, the case quickly went cold. I mean, everybody seemed okay with it. I mean, look at the situation. How do you investigate something so bizarre with nothing to go on? To be honest, I was starting to come around to that way of thinking. Until the feds showed up. One day, out of the blue, these suits from Washington just come in and round up everybody who'd seen anything to do with the case. Politely informed us all that it was a federal matter now and that we should turn over all copies of all related materials.
Did you?
Reluctantly, we'd kept the case pretty quiet. The local news wasn't covering it, let alone national news, and because it was an open case, the office had kept pretty quiet, so how did the feds even know about it? I mean, they took the files, the photographs, copy of my walkthrough, and the cars. Loaded them up into 2 semis for transport back to Washington, and that's when I became really suspicious. I mean, why use 2 covered semis instead of a standard vehicle transport? But the icing on the cake? 3 guys in hazmat suits running their equipment over each car as they were loaded. That's why I kept the original copy of my walkthrough. Something was wrong and we weren't being told about it. We were given orders to cease all investigation on the case once they left, but I tore mine up after I read it.
Why? Why keep investigating?
Because why all the secrecy? Why did the feds even know about it? Why was there no forensic evidence? What about that eerie feeling that me and all the cops had felt on scene that day? Did it have something to do with the guy in the hazmat suit? Was it dangerous if it was? I mean, there was just too many questions that needed to be answered. So, I quietly started going over my original walkthrough frame by frame, looking for something I'd missed. Anything. I didn't find anything at all. Nothing. So one day, I called the phone number on one of the business cards that one of the agents had, given me. An agent, Jack Burton. I called him, told him who I was, that I needed answers. He told me to let it go and to never contact him again regarding this matter. 2 weeks later, I had an on-the-job accident. And during my time in the hospital, my house was broken into. Guess what was missing? Luckily, I'd made several copies of that walkthrough, but how many and where they are right now, I'm not gonna say. After I got out of the hospital, I was discharged from work. That was 8 years ago. And I sit here today, drinking my tea and wondering if ruining me was really worth the trouble.
The report said it was a hit-and-run accident.
Well, yeah, I was hit while I was crossing the street by a car that accelerated once I began crossing. I saw the license plate, recognized the car. It was the same one the feds had used when they'd come to visit us. So, accident? No. No, it wasn't.
Are you afraid whoever it was will try again, especially now that you're on record telling this?
They could kill me now, but too many people would know about it. And how many people would they have to kill with me? I mean, everybody who's seeing this is a potential target, and that's just way too many people to go unnoticed. So, you all are safe.
I don't know, it was like 3 weeks after that, but like I was coming home and I saw this black car pulling out of the property. Like you usually don't see that, And my dad was scared. He didn't get scared. He's used to stuff, This is a guy that plays with snakes, But it scared him. And it just never was the same after that. I don't know, it bothered me.